So earlier today I made a video calling out comic book resources for their sharing of a The Things article, sharing other cosplayers. And just 2 hours ago they shared this post here that basically retracts their share of that. So it says here, recently a post promoting content from another site appeared on the CBR Facebook page, which made disparaging remarks about the members of the cosplay community. The first thing we want to say is that we are sorry. Even though the content was not created by anyone here at CBR and does not reflect the values that have existed at the core of our site for decades, it still appeared under our banner, and for that we apologise. We agree with everyone who has reached out to us that the content was inappropriate and mean-spirited. We are in the process of now figuring out how it got there, and will take further action once we do. We believe that cosplay is for everyone, regardless of race, gender, body type, or skill level. CBR never seeks to exclude anyone from any community based on these factors, and we continue to maintain that every person should feel welcome in every corner of the fandom. That is a principle we are built upon and continue to be motivated by every day. Again, we are extremely sorry that this content appeared on the CBR Facebook page. We will get to the bottom of how it was shared here, and redouble our efforts to make sure that the posts that you see are the same inclusive content that we are proud to present as CBR. As someone that owns a Facebook page of my own, you can easily find out who posted that. There's no need to redouble your efforts, just go find the original post or go to your audit log, it should be there. And common sense would certainly indicate that you do not share a post like that. But I can at least appreciate that there is an apology here, even if it took a few days to receive one. The timing of this does lead me to believe that they are more sorry they were caught than they are that they shared the post, but at least it is something. But it's all a little bit strange when you look at the two websites. They're very much about, oh, this mysterious source shared this mysterious, very mean-spirited article. But if you look at these two websites, you'll notice that they are business partners. But if you make a whoopsie, you make a whoopsie, right? You don't tend to repeat that whoopsie. An accident's an accident. You don't accidentally stub your toe twice in a row, do you? You don't really accidentally write a hateful article once, but hey, I guess the things do. In fact, they did it twice, as I just dug up this interesting little gem from the ever-hateful TheThings.com. What have you got for us today, TheThings.com? 20 people who tried cosplaying Star Wars characters but failed hard. Star Wars is one of the biggest franchises of all time, and the original trilogy is still considered one of the best trilogies of all time by many people. With the new 9th film in the main saga coming out at the end of the year, and supposedly being the last film in the series, we'll see about that, expect to see a lot of Star Wars cosplayers this year at comics conventions you might attend. Comics conventions, what are you, 50? Unfortunately, not every cosplayer is a professional hottie who gets paid to travel from convention to convention so the dorks can ogle her skimpy clothes and fake bust. Wow, there's a lot to unpack here, Cory Barkley. You sound like a bit of an incel. There are probably 20 times as many poorly designed, poorly executed cosplays out there, and so many of them belong in the Star Wars franchise. We think most of them are joke plays, but who knows? Here are 20 sad attempts at Star Wars cosplays. Yep, back at it again with that toxic, judgmental behavior. And this one is on the 7th of July, so it's more recent than the other one that I talked about. So here we go, 20. And we are literally recycling. Literally, this has been in the previous article. These poor guys have had, surely, enough bullying from the Things, but the Things don't think so. First up, we have this trio of misfits, who probably put about 5 minutes between the three of them into their costumes. They're trying to be the trifecta of wholesome goodness, Chewbacca, R2-D2, and C-3PO, but it's a big fail. From the sunglasses wearing R2-D2, who is basically just a ghost sheet over himself, Chewie looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, and Egghead C-3PO. This was a dismal effort. To be fair, I would say that there has actually been quite a bit of effort put into this cosplay. Maybe not comparatively to, say, a replica build, but still, there's effort gone into it, and ultimately they're here representing their favourite franchise and showing a lot of love for it, but done in a homemade way, and look at the facial expressions, they're clearly not taking themselves too seriously. 19. Princess Leia, Buckethead, and Trash Can Head. It seems like R2-D2 would be one of the hardest costumes to nail because of his lack of legs, arms, or a head, but that doesn't stop people from trying. Except this guy didn't try at all, he just put a trash can over his head, and C-3PO isn't much better with an overturned gold bucket and sequin onesie. Lastly we have Leia, and her Cinnabon taped over her head glory. This is literally done for a joke, but I forget that the Things can't take a joke. And, like, I don't think anyone's trying to make a case that you can actually cosplay R2-D2 if you're an average-sized human being. These guys are just having fun, but that's one of the things. The Things, you hate fun. Once again, we're back at this one, which is clearly a family. Look at the two in the front, they are minors. Worst cosplay team ever assembled. The amount of effort put into this group of Star Wars cosplayers is so negligible, it would be funny if it weren't so sad. Well, here they are hanging out with their friends. I doubt you have the most friends in the world, Cory Barkley, with that kind of judgmental attitude. Continuing on though. It is actually pretty funny, with the literal trash can for R2-D2, the trash bag for Jabba the Hutt and that face, and the cardboard box C-3PO. The two best are probably Rey and Kylo Ren, and that's not saying much. Yoda is terrible because just 1,000 years old too young to be a little white kid. Okay. Alright, but again, they are a family, from the looks of things, who are just having fun. Once again, you hate fun. But this is where it gets particularly abhorrent, is when we get to number 17, where it says Fat Boba Fett. Okay, we're body shaming now, are we? Imagine how this guy would feel if he came across this article. Do you know the guy? Do you know the guy, what kind of problems the guy has in his life, maybe? Do you think maybe he's tired of being called things like Fat Boba Fett? I mean, it's unbelievable that a professional, quote-unquote, journalism website is publishing this kind of stuff. I daren't even read this, to be honest, but let's go ahead anyway. There are no rules when cosplaying. Then why are you calling out innocent people who have done nothing to you? Anyone can cosplay anyone else, no matter the body type or gender. Cosplaying is all about having fun, but there's unfortunately a lot of spite and competitive nature in the professional cosplay world. You are literally doing this! Luckily, this guy doesn't have to worry about making it to the professional circuit. He should feel comfortable staying in the amateur tier of cosplayers. That is one of the most insulting things you can say to a person you don't know. You should be absolutely ashamed of yourself, Cory. You are garbage. 16. Low budget family. Yes, low budget, and there's an appeal to low budget, but you wouldn't understand that because you're utterly uncultured and unintelligent. This is a pretty cute family. Yes, it is. And it's not all bad when it comes to cosplaying. In fact, the two kids in the front have the best outfits of the bunch, with their Leia and Darth Vader being pretty spot on, and the tiny R2-D2 is very adorable too. Gee, at least they didn't pick on the kids, I guess. But the parents look like they've got Padme and the Stormtrooper outfits from the Goodwill store down the street or a swap meet. Yeah, it's a janky, fun, charming cosplay. Charm is the one thing the Thing will never ever have. 15. Cinnamon Bun Leia. I mean, if you're really gonna rag on this, you're clearly missing the point. Let's read on. As you see here, there are countless people out there who try to pull off the cinnamon bun Leia look, although this older lady does it quite well. In the other cinnamon bun picture above, the person still had the buns in plastic bags, but unless you took a second glance, you could almost mistake these two tasty treats for hair. Almost. Why is this on the list then in that case? 14. Sleeping Bag Jabba the Hutt and Lingerie Leia. They are just posing for a fun photo, and also they are at home. If you're just trying to have a little fun and don't plan on leaving the house, then there's nothing wrong with this cosplay. Once you take a picture of it and put it on the internet for everyone to see, it's free game. Okay, the things. It is a point worth noting that, yes, when you do post something on the internet, you risk jerks taking it like this, but why be that person? We suppose anyone could become Jabba the Hutt by wrapping themselves up like a burrito in a sleeping bag, and you can't really call yourself Slave Leia just because you're wearing a plastic tiara. No words. 13. Sad 3PO. Oh boy, where to begin? Thank goodness we can only see the upper half of this unfortunate display, but even that is too much. It almost looks like this person was trying to turn themselves into an expressionless sex doll, or a golden gimp from Pulp Fiction. Gee, classy guys. Whatever they were trying to do, they failed. But it's a bit surprising that we can tell that this is supposed to be C-3PO at all. Well, the fact you can tell it is C-3PO at all, it means it's a success at a homemade cosplay. It's about representing the character, not about completely duplicating them. 12. Up all night to get Windu. And as you can see, these people are not taking themselves too seriously. We've got literally 2 gender bend cosplays here, and this one is just a helmet with the joke on it. It's something done to represent. Oh, and even Yoda in the back here. Sorry, that sign reading Up All Night to Get Windu probably has some bigger significance than this writer understands, but it's hard to take your eyes away from the catastrophe surrounding that sign. From the toothless trailer park gender swap Princess Leia, to the robot dancing masquerade C-3PO and the furry Yoda. This one has just bad news written all over it. I don't think it's really fair to judge this guy based on his appearance, that maybe he's like a trailer park kind of a guy. At the end of the day, people can lose teeth over anything. It could be a hockey accident, anything like that. Maybe he lost his tooth doing an act of heroism. But it's just not fair to judge off of appearances like the Things do. But then again, this is the Things, where if a Disney princess falls in love with a man, that means she's sending a negative message to children. 11. Princess Leia. Obviously a gender bend cosplay. Speaking of gender swapping, here's another one of Princess Leia, who is probably the most popular character out there to gender swap. It's most likely because everyone loves Carrie Fisher man and woman alike, and just wants to be her. On one hand, this is actually a pretty good cosplay. The guy did up his hair and everything. On the other hand, the 5 o'clock shadow and showing too much leg really takes away from the whole experience. So you're saying that he can't really represent the character because of his facial hair and stuff like that. Oh boy, I can't wait for someone to tell him about non-binary gender. 10. Jar Jar and George. Okay, for starters, this is more of a representative joke. So, you know, one of these characters looks ridiculous, and it's not the guy portraying George Lucas. That guy actually looks spot on to the mastermind behind the franchise, complete with the wavy hair and the size of him. But the Jar Jar Binks, the character that single-handedly almost destroyed the franchise, looks really bad. I mean, you're asking a person to completely represent an 8-foot-tall CGI character here. He's asking us to stop the hate, but that's hard to do when you're cosplaying such a terrible character. In fact, it almost makes us want to increase the hate. The Things, ladies and gentlemen. 9. Death Star Dude. I mean, obviously, he's not making a case to say he is the Death Star. What possesses someone to portray a thing like the Death Star? Like, it's not even a character in the series, it's just a ship that's designed to destroy all planets. Usually anyone who tries to cosplay a world-destroying device doesn't do it justice, and this guy's no exception. His costume's a bit underwhelming, and Darth Vader would find his lack of cosplaying skills disturbing indeed. I just want to point out the amount of work and effort it must take to put together a spherical costume. I don't think it's really necessary to read the rest, to be honest. I mean, they're really gonna rag on about the Muppet Star Wars mashup? They got a weird thing about gender bends, they got a weird thing about homemade things. You get the gist of it. Now, if I were to just talk about, you know, shaming the Things beyond just this, I would say, here's an example of what a Things video is really like. Here are our top 10 Disney princesses. In 10th place is Mulan. Mulan lands on the 10th spot because she falls in love with a man, and that's sending bad messages to the children. And now the top 10 Disney princes that are likely to be gay. Prince Adam is so gay. Literally, you can't make this stuff up. Look it up. It exists. The Things is garbage. This website needs to be taken down a peg. Like, literally, I'm not going to try and say, oh yeah, let's boycott the Things, because, let's face it, I'm an underdog, I'm unlikely to ever achieve that sort of thing. But I think we all need to get the message out there that the Things are no good. They have no kinds of reservations about making people feel horrible about themselves and picking on strangers, and this just does not slide. There is no low that these people won't sink to, and all for the sake of ad revenue. Frankly, it's disgusting and an abuse of the platform in my opinion. I'm all for freedom of speech, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to speak out against this. I may not be a religious man, but I still believe in love thy neighbor, and these dirtbags are just all kinds of petty. Help me out here and share this video around and spread the word. The Things are one of the most garbage channels on YouTube, and partly because of how big they are. Wise up and expect better from your content creators. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, don't forget to subscribe and check the description below for links to the Patreon and Discord. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.
No, what about it?
It's cancelled, dude.
For real?
You didn't get the notification?
No, I didn't.
Oh, well, it's cancelled.
Yeah, well, I came all this way for nothing then. Hey, you want to hang out?
No.
I just heard there was a gunman. Tracy, you gotta get out of there. Tracy? Tracy.
Okay, so I guess the best advice I could give to anybody is this. Evaluate your circumstances, be brave. Be prepared to fail, but always get up. You owe it to yourself to be marvelous, so why regret being anything less? Well said. I'll see you around, buddy.